Hello and welcome to the iRacing Grand Prix Series here at Spa-Francorchamps. We are live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Marco Barbanera and Samuli Kumo. And Marco, of course, the first round of the season was at Silverstone, and we got a full-length race there. It was awesome to see the strategies, quite a bit of a difference between the drivers, and I think around this Spa circuit is going to be more the same.
Absolutely, we are at one of the best circuits in the world, Spa-Francorchamps, full-length race, so we are expecting different strategies from all the drivers, and it's going to be interesting, an interesting race from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. 44 laps out there. Should be about 1.5 hours for us, and yeah, it should be very interesting. Qualifying just starting for the drivers, and this is a bit of an odd one, isn't it, for the drivers, Marco? Of course, 8 minutes to do 2 laps. It's not usually too much of an issue, but unlike most circuits, you kind of got to get on with it, you know, and make sure that you put in those lap times because it is such a long circuit around here.
Very long track and very, very easy to get a penalty for running off the track boundaries. So if you do that, of course, your lap is not validated, and you risk effectively a start from the back of the pack, and you know, do not have a very huge grid today, but still it's not easy to pass in these cars, although we have a massive DRS zone. Basically we have the entire run up to the first chicane, basically, which is Fagnes after the Camel Straight. And I think we also have a little bit of DRS in the start-finish line, if I remember correctly, going into loss of slot. What most of these drivers will do, I think, if there's double DRS zone, they will wait behind until the hairpin and then use the DRS after Rouge, because you risk, if you pass before the hairpin, you are at serious risk of getting overtaken again, going into the chicane after the Camel Straight.
Yeah, they've certainly got to factor that in. You know, racing around here is quite unique, and across the very long straights, we got that fast-flowing middle part of the circuit. Will be a fantastic challenge for the drivers. Matteo Calistani currently leads the championship on 542 points. He is 19 points clear of Benjamin Lindsay on 523. Next, Victor Prieto with 501. Harrison Finch with 488. Manu Domingo has got 458. Enric Andre has got 426, and Jorge Montañez with 420, and then a further 100-point gap back to Ivan Rudko. So it's close in the championship market. Of course, they've got to. It's not as simple as just turning up for the occasional round. These drivers have got to be fully committed to this race to have any chance of the title, but it could really go to anyone right now, couldn't it? It's really close up at the top.
Absolutely, and these races here, these longer races will probably show us the most realistic values of all the field, because with a longer race you don't only need to be fast, you also need to be very smart with your strategies. We talked about tires a lot in the previous races, especially at Silverstone. We know that the fall off is pretty significant, and a lap around here is very, very long, so you have to time your stops very well. One thing that is going to help these drivers today is the fact that with 14 cars on the track, it's going to be a little bit easier not get stuck into traffic after you pit. But still, I was talking to Matteo Calistani earlier in the week, of course, perks of being Italian. I talked to a lot of the Italian drivers, and he told me that he's going to be most likely a two-stopper for the drivers if they don't want to do anything crazy, and he thinks that DRS is going to play a massive role today in this. So we'll see. We saw an amazing race at Interlagos, a little bit more subdued race in the opening act at Silverstone. I'm expecting a race more like Interlagos.
Yeah, I think so. I think for the first time this season, we're going to have a really good battle for the lead. In the first round, it was Jamie Fluke, Apex Racing's Jamie Fluke, taking the victory, and then in the last round, it was Harrison Finch, who is around today, but he's currently a tenth slower than Manu Domingo currently. We heard some big words from Enric Andre last time at Interlagos, saying that Spa, he feels like he's going to be very strong around here, and yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But him and Andre and Kalistani had an incredible battle last time, Marco. We got actually some highlights of that battle on the YouTube channel, but it was really does just show the type of battling we can see in these cars, with them two using the DRS zones, the two zones in at Interlagos, and it just provided an awesome battle for the entirety of the race.
Yeah, Matteo liked the video a lot, which is a good testament to whoever did the editing, and I thought it was very, very good. And he shared it on social media earlier in this week. So, testament to the great battle and to the good production we have, of course, behind the cameras and in the commentary box, of course. These drivers appreciate the effort, and we appreciate the spectacle they put on for us. I mean, as we have beautiful shots of this track. Again, I can't wait for the green flag, and I think we are almost ready.
Yes, we are pretty much here, and it is Manu Domingo then, getting pole position. Awesome lap from him at 45.7. Alison Finch didn't start Interlagos actually on pole position, but he did start on the front row, and he managed to convert it into a victory. He starts in second. Enric Andre starts in third. Matteo Calistani, oh dear, those two are going to be going at it all race long, I think, in third and fourth. Benjamin Lindsay in fifth, still only 6/10 off pole position. Then it's Frederic Vesti in sixth. This is the first time we've seen Vesti this season. Michael Kaiser in seventh. Then it's Carl Johansson, Stefan Schmidt, Claudio Candio, Borja Bueno, Oli Cuoca, Gonzalo Calvo, and Rinaldo Augusto rounding out the field. We are very nearly here, and yeah, do you think Finch is going to be able to convert this one, Marco? We heard last night Interlagos got a poor qualifying lap, which really cost him, but he's going to really have a tight battle on his hands.
Yeah, I'm expecting one battle for the first position, Domingo and Finch, and one battle for the third position between Andre and Calistani, with Lindsay a possible outsider. Also keep an eye out for Germanton. I think his qualifying was not really good, and he showed better pace in the race.
So here we go. Manu Domingo from the pole position. Green flags are out, and away we go. It's a decent start for Domingo, not a great start for Andre from the second row, but it's a really strong start for Domingo. He's way out into the lead. Andre actually goes down the inside, and it's like Calistani round.
Yes.
Oh, a few cars out already.
I think the two teammates touched there at the La Source hairpin, and that was a very tricky moment as the car's going to Eau Rouge. One thing sorry to cut you off there, Sam.
Yeah, so yeah, well, it's going to be difficult for House and Finch to convert this one now. Manu Domingo having to go defense against Andre, and Andre's gone straight on, and he's going to have to cut this circuit now. This is a perfect start for Domingo, and look at the slowdown. He's now going to have to serve Andre. He's going to lose lots of position. He's going to go back down to the two drivers who took each other out, the two teammates, and Andre actually seemingly in third position. He hasn't lost too much time there. He committed early to it, didn't lose too much time, but Germanton up 6 positions. This is something like we saw in the UV8s yesterday.
I called it a few minutes ago to watch out for Germanton, because he always shows some good pace. Of course, the contacts helped him a bit, and I'm surprised that Andre didn't have to serve a bigger slowdown, even though he took the designed route. When you go off the track, there's a little escape road there, so I don't think that the penalty is as harsh as when you go straight through the grass.
Yeah, I think so. I was expecting it to be worse just because it was on the first lap, but to be fair to him, he did the right thing, and he was very quick. If anything, he's got a little bit of front wing down. I'm not sure if that was the contact from corner 1, or whether that was maybe him going up onto that escape road. He's not going to have DRS at the moment. He doesn't need DRS at the moment. He's gone to the inside, but he can't quite force the move currently. And yes, very close just behind as well. But Andre, if anything, just dropping back. He needs to make sure that he makes this move very early on. Otherwise, Domingo, who is now 2 seconds out in the lead, could establish a bit of a handy advantage.
Okay, now about the contacts in the first corners, we saw at Silverstone and at Interlagos, even if you get minimal front wing damage, you are going to lose a lot of time in the pits because of the repairs. They're going to change your nose cone automatically, and Andre is going for it now on the Camel Straight.
Yeah, if anything, I think Germanton just let him have that one. No DRS at this point in the race, so that must have been a lift-off from Germanton. He doesn't want to get involved in this one. He will fancy his chances at a P3 with troubles for Finch and Kalistani as well. Neither of them are coming to the pits yet, I think. And yeah, but they've got a long way to come back. And of course, in the championship, this is crucial because I think if it ended right now, Andre would inherit the lead.
Yeah, even though we see some damage, like you said, on the front wing of Andre, so you know he's going to lose some time. But I think also Kalistani and I think Finch as well have a little bit of damage and will have to replace their front wings. So we are looking at, I think, yeah, Kalistani definitely has some front wing damage. Around a 10-second stop for these guys because of the additional time that you need to repair that front wing. And also Lindsay has damage on his front wing. So that first corner caught out a lot of people, like it happens in real life. The amazing thing, like we saw last night, teammates colliding, and that is really unusual in iRacing. Usually you have, I have to say, a lot more respect for your teammates here that sometimes happens in real life. So that was weird, and it's going to be an interesting post-race talk, I imagine, guys.
Well, I thought it was a little bit like the 2016 start in the real F1 with, you know, Verstappen, Raikkonen, Vettel, where, you know, you got one driver bursting down the inside, and once you get through wide there, even if you do have teammates, they pretty much can't do anything about it because no one really knows where one another are apart from the middle driver. And yeah, I think that really cost them out there. Here is Finch trying to come back. First up is Bueno. And he's to the outside, he's going to have the DRS here. Bueno doesn't, and that's very simple for him. Lindsay, of course, lost out as well, and he's just made a move on Auguste. So they are making their way through the field, but yeah, we'll have to analyse their times, I think, just to see what the extent of their damage is.
Yeah, and also some of these guys are thinking to postpone their stop as far away as possible, because if you stop right now to change that front wing, maybe it's costing you some tenths of a second. You are not going to be able to make it on 2 stops until the end of the race, so they really have to fight through this first stint and hopefully get it changed when they first have the chance to make their first regular stop. But yeah, still it's a lot of problem because you lose some time, and again because the pit stop gets inevitably a little bit longer. We saw Andre do the fastest lap of the race in the previous time around. He is 1.7 seconds behind, so not in a DRS zone. If I were him, I would try to close the gap as soon as possible, try to make the pass on Domingo, of course easier said than done, and then try to get the gap as big as possible to minimize the damage from the long pit stop.
Yeah, I think so. And, well, of course, his main rivals are going to have long pit stops as well, aren't they? So, right now, I must say, looking as though it could be a straight battle between Domingo and Andre, because currently, Harrison Finch, well, he's 6 seconds behind Andre. It just depends on the traffic, really. And, of course, we know that there's probably going to be a little bit of difference in the strategy. Maybe a couple of drivers going for a 3-stopper. Do you think it might be worth for the drivers who have got front wing damage, in particular Finch and Kalistani, to pit now and just convert to the 3-stopper, do something different? Because if not, they're almost certainly not going to get on the podium.
Kalistani is lapping in the I-51s, so probably that is some to do with damage or some to do with traffic. Whilst I see Finch in the 49.7, so maybe for Kalistani could be a viable option to a 3-stopper.
Well, Finch is up into P7, got past Kaiser, yeah, he got past Kaiser, I think, earlier on in this lap. He's got Koika, he's doing a very good job, up 6 positions from 12th on the grid. Of course, a small grid, and I must say I was a bit concerned that we were going to have pretty much no cars left after that first corner, but in fact we've seen really competitive driving out there. Great to see how evenly matched all these drivers are. There's not really a big gap between anyone currently. And Lindsay closing in on Kaiser. Oh, he got onto the grass there, and he had to really get out of it. He'll be thankful of that. if that was 20 years ago, he would have been looking straight in a wall, I think. But he's okay at the moment, is Lindsay. And he's just got to line this one up. It was what you were saying earlier on, Marco, how you do have the DRS zone down here, but you're not looking to make the overtake here. You're just looking to eye it up for Lecun.
I think it was some years ago in Formula 1 when they first had the double DRS zone here. The drivers were passing here and then they were passed again on the Camel Straight. So they, midway through the race, everybody stopped making the passes, and now like this pass on the Camel Straight to get it secured, and it's a good move for Lindsay, which moves up to position 8.
Yeah, I think it was like Schumacher and Ricciardo had like a battle like that or something back in 2011 or 2012, where yeah, you were kind of overtaking someone at one point in the lap, but if you couldn't break the 1 second gap, the other driver would just come straight back down that straight, and yeah, that was very much how it played out on that day. And we might see something at least similar round here. Finch really close to Quoker. He's closing it very quickly. So Finch on that last lap did a 49.97. Fastest driver was Andre, 48.93. So it's difficult to tell, but at least he hasn't got considerable damage, Marco. And at least maybe once he gets that little bit of damage fixed, although I must say, I don't know about you, I can't really see anything on that car.
I need to get a closer look, but I think he has maybe some damage. Maybe it's a little bit tilted, the front wing, but as he tries to get the draft through the Blanchimont corner and at the bus stop.
No real point in Quaker fighting this one, but he is going to go for it. And if anything, he's left himself vulnerable to the very quick Benjamin Lindsay just behind. But back down the inside goes Finch. He's not listening to our advice about waiting till Lecun, because he's gone for it here, and he's going to be a sit and duck surely to the 2 cars behind here. Let's see how this one plays out. He is not in the DRS of Schmidt. He's 1.4 seconds behind Schmidt. Let's see how close Quoker can get. Well, he just had to lift off at the top of this Eau Rouge section. And here we go then. It could be 3 wide. To the inside goes Lindsay, and he's got a little bit of connection issues. He can't really make the move in the end, and Finch just about pulls it off. In the end, he did pretty well there, but I was surprised that Lindsay and Quaker couldn't mount more of a challenge.
Yeah, now cameras on Calestani, sitting in P12. He has got some problems. I think he's lapping consistently.
Yeah, had enough. Oh, sorry, Quaker had enough. Sorry. Go, yeah, so...
Yeah, don't worry. Calestani is lapping consistently in the I-51s, so the replay. We see some considerable damage to his car. So yeah, I would switch to a 3-stopper, as we have the first retirement of the race. Car number 11, Gonzalo Calvo, has sadly retired.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened to Calvo at that, but yeah, it's disappointing to see him go out, and we have still got 13 cars, which looks unlikely at the first corner. I don't know if we could possibly go back to that first lap, because it was a bit carnage. And actually going through now already is Harrison Finch past Stefan Schmidt. He started this lap 1.5 seconds behind. He's already caught by the end of it, and Benjamin Lindsay going for the move as well into the final chicane. And was there a bit of contact there? I'm not quite sure. A little bit of netcode. Lindsay is jumping all over the place, and jumping down the field is Stefan Schmidt. We saw this a little bit at Interlagos. Stefan moving down the field, and it's happened again. Goes from a comfortable 5th to an 8th at the end of that last lap.
Yeah, great camera work on the overtake by Finch, because I could see clearly damage on his front wing. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have to wait a little bit longer at his pit stop. But he is going very, very fast. We talked to him several times after races. We see Smith trying to go for an overtake here at the chicane. Great battle. Cuoca manages to defend position, which is not easy, considering that he didn't have DRS to defend himself.
Yeah, really nice defense there. It's great to see cars going side by side. They're not really something that you see in real life, really, with with many different cars, but on iRacing you can certainly see that occasionally, and Schmidt's going to lose another position. This is so frustrating. Got to be really careful coming back onto the circuit here. A few bumps where you can't actually see them from the cockpit of the car, but he did well to get back on, but he's yeah, dropped from 5th to 9th in less than a lap. It's really disappointing for Stefan Schmidt, but still going to have a chance later on back to where he started.
Even with the slowest Formula car in iRacing, the Skip Barber, that corner is so difficult. I cannot even imagine how tough can it be with these amazing and powerful F1 cars.
Yeah, right up there with the most difficult corners, I think, in the world with any car. I think really is so difficult with the technique. And Finch is in, so that is lap number 7. Well, is that a 3-stop, you think, Marco? It's he could maybe push it out for a 2-stopper, but we'll have to wait and see, because at Interlagos you were right in the first place, and then I managed to convince you the wrong strategy, that everyone's going to do a 2-stop, and in the end they did a 1-stop anyway, so we can't really assume anything at this point.
Yeah, and we see the pit stop is going to take 11 seconds, so he had to change his front wing. Got that out of the way. Interesting to see if he's going to try for a 3-stopper, right? I think he could.
Well, he's now got a nice bit of clear. He's got 18 seconds to his teammate, Matej Kalistani. Another question, why would they pit Finch before Kalistani, considering that Kalistani is struggling so much more, seemingly has got a lot more damage? That just seems very, that seems a bit pointless to pit Finch and not Kalistani, don't you think?
Unless Kalistani has got some suspension damage, and that is very difficult to fix, so he's trying to battle it out, as we see Schmidt once again defending, going into the chicane here, attacking and defending. There's cars all over the place here in the back of the pack.
Well, Schmidt has managed to gain 2 positions, I think, just on this lap. He was down to 9th at one point. He managed to make a move, I think, at the chicane on the last lap. Oh yeah, sorry, that must have been the pit stop, of course, from Finch, wasn't it? But he did manage to get past Kaiser again, still ahead of Kaiser. Can he go for a late move here? Not quite. Brilliant battle between this 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. It seems as though this battle is going to rage on for the entire race, because personally, I can't really see any difference in lap times between these guys.
Walker! Wow! Can he save it? He saved it. Wow! That was a scary moment for everybody behind him. And now he's going to bunch them up even more for the Run to Eau Rouge and the Camel Straight.
This is going to be interesting, isn't it? Different levels of slipstream. All got DRS apart from the poor Kroiker. Alt's in the lead here. And we've got a great shot of everything going on behind. Will he go defensive? Yes, he will. It's going to be Kroiker and Schmidt side by side into Lekum. Not quite, and Kroiker nearly loses it again. Really good defense there. He was so late on the brakes and just about got it stopped. Kept a good enough racing line, and he holds on to that position for now. Any moves just behind? Seemingly not. Augusto couldn't get the move on Kaiser. But yeah, this battle, brilliant train currently going on. They are now 5 seconds behind Lindsay ahead, but they won't care about that. And actually, Alt's in the lead. It's getting close between our 2 leaders. We haven't talked about them for a long time. Domingo and Andre. Currently very close, 7/10 of a second. And I think this might be the first lap, Marco, where Andre gets the DRS.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if he can close the gap here, going to Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane. Because if he's close enough, he can go for a pass on the Camel Straight. We'll see, he's very, very close, very deep on the brakes, Andre. Gotta be very, very careful there on the throttle. Yeah, he's very, very close, he's so close.
We saw Andre being very stubborn to be overtaken last time. We'll see if Domingo is quite as stubborn this time. Jomanton's still not too far behind these guys, about 5.5 seconds behind. Only lapping though about half a second a lap slower, so if these two start fighting a lot, then he could maybe get himself back into the contention, Carl. And here we go then. This is a moment of truth. Andre goes to the outside, and I think a little bit of energy recovery, if anything, from Domingo. And I think he may have just lifted off there. Let's Andre have it. And Andre moves up into first position, dropped down to about 5th on the first couple of corners, but he has now established that race lead.
Yeah, now he has to push a lot. We haven't seen anybody come in, as iRacing finished was the fastest lap of the race, 48.5. No one else has come into the pits except for Finch, so all these drivers I think are looking towards a two-stopper, and Andre needs to get this gap as big as possible now.
Yeah, he just needs to bang in the lap times, doesn't he? But we're just watching a battle, despite them being, you know, 36 seconds between one another currently. It is really Andre versus Finch. And of course, we do expect Andre to have to take a front wing, don't we? So will Domingo be thinking, if I can just stay within, you know, kind of 5 seconds of this guy, I could actually inherit the lead after the first pit stops?
Yes, but I don't know if he knows this, because maybe you're going very, very fast, looking into your mirrors, you don't see if the other car has damage. And judging by the pace that Andre is having, maybe you don't even expect it, but if he has some kind of spotter telling him this, then it could be a viable strategy for him. Just wait and wait. This pit stop is going to be a little bit longer.
Andre struggling quite a bit in the chicane and down into turn 1, really struggling with the rear end, and actually Domingo's going to have DRS in, and as long as he can stay in that DRS zone, it'll be interesting actually to see how much he gains down this straight, see how much the DRS actually aids him, because if he can just, and we've got a spin, sorry, no, I thought I heard something, but Kuoka and Schmidt are very, very close actually down there, and I think they might be going through a rouge right now. And they are so close. Here it is. Oh, it's a going to be contact. There is going to be contact. Schmidt is round, and there's a couple of other cars involved as well.
There's a car in the wall there. Is Augusto. And
I think Buena was involved in that one, or Kaiser?
Yeah, there was another car, just at the very least front end damage, because it basically hit 2 cars sideways. I think it was could have been Vesti or Lindsay. I don't know, we will have to check that back again, but very, very problematic to go side by side as we see the replay here. There's one, and there's 2. There's a yellow car there. It's Borja Bueno, I think. Maybe.
I think it was Kuoka, wasn't it?
Yeah, only Kuoka. Yeah, you are right.
No, I think it's 2 cars back actually. I don't think it was. Yeah, I think it's just the car behind. I think Bueno at this point. I think
Claudio Candio maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually.
His car looks fine. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think you were right.
A lot of white and red cars, a lot of yellow cars today. Yeah, that wasn't pretty, and Benjamin Lindsay is in the pits. Calestani also went into the pits. He had a 10-second stop, so change, but still has some front wing damage. So either that, or it's just an issue. Let's see. No, this is before the pit stop for Calestani.
I think Calestani may have had an incident actually before he entered the pit stop, because I think that was a lot more damage than he should have had actually. And actually, well, no, 58.52 in lap, so yeah, that's okay to be fair. So hopefully he can come back in, maybe fight for top 5 or something, but he would have really wanted the race victory today, Matteo Calestani, but got a long, long way to come back now. Andre still only some 0.75 seconds ahead of Domingo, and I think Domingo, maybe, I don't know if he's listening to us, but yeah, he's staying in that DRS zone, isn't he? And as long as he can do that, he's going to keep himself in contention.
Yeah. So Stefan Schmidt out of the pits in 11 seconds as well, so front wing change for him too. And these 2 guys here, Domingo is playing a very good strategy right now. If he can keep this close, I think he's going to be battling for the race win. I would say he could be the favorite for the race win, because you know, Finch is going to have top 3 times, probably, not sure, we'll see. And as we said, Andre has front wing damage, so maybe Domingo has the safest route possible towards the finish line. We'll see. Of course, we are, as Germanton goes in, we are historically bad at predicting strategy.
It's one of our policies, you know, Apex Racing TV. And Harrison Finch currently is lapping 2 seconds a lap faster than Andre and Domingo. The gap was up at about 40 seconds at one point. It's now 31 seconds to the race lead. And of course, the traffic, I was going to say that the traffic could be a bit of an issue for him. Probably not going to be, because he's going to be so rapid through, and everyone else is pitting currently. Germanton, Vesti and Kaiser all in the pits currently. Is he going to have to make one move, Finch? This could be a little bit problematic. He's going to have to maybe get out of the power a little bit, although I think he might just get a nice bit of DRS as well, just to help him along, and a bit of slipstream as well. He's just behind Carl Germanton currently. Germanton with a 12-second pit stop, and here comes Finch. Straight through, and yeah, didn't lose him any time whatsoever.
Yeah, easy pass, and he gets another one under his belt. Now Finch is in P5, and all the guys in front of him have yet to stop.
Just a purple first sector because of that. DRS did a 29.76. Compare that to Candio just ahead, 31.15. So that's the power of the DRS, and the slipstream was absolutely perfect for Harrison Finch. But yeah, really will be interesting to see if he can pull off a two-stopper. We were told that Kalistani actually had, I think it was 19% front tyres at the last round, and he was still getting around okay, wasn't he? He wasn't exactly a sitting duck to the other drivers. But do you expect these drivers to implement the same policy around this circuit, or will they go away from that? Because if you get down to 0%, I believe the tyre actually delaminates.
Yeah, we'll see. This track is not very hard on tires, if I remember correctly, and we have a cooler track temperature. We had like 43 Celsius, I think, at Interlagos, and 27 degrees here at Spa-Francorchamps, as the leaders pit, all except Borja Bueno.
Andre with a long stop. He's going to lose out to Finch already. He's a long way behind Finch. So this is a super long pit stop for Eric Andre. What's going on here? He's been stationary for 25 seconds now. Andre still stationary. My goodness, it's lost him so much time.
He might have gotten a penalty.
Yes. I think that may have been the case.
Unless
well, no one really wants this race victory, do they?
Unless he had some damage to the rear wing as well as the front wing, but not that I couldn't see when we were showing him on camera, and we'll be showing him a lot. So maybe I don't know. I hope he comes to the post-race interview, because that's an odd one. Also, Lindsay had a 25-second pit stops a couple of laps ago, so maybe these guys both got a penalty. I have no idea.
Well, when you do stuff like that, it can really cost you. It does mean that Carl Germanton is now up into P4 and might have to do one less pit stop than the driver ahead of him, Harrison Finch. Domingo now going past Bueno. That's kind of what we expect. Bueno is he going to be able to do a one stop? I seriously doubt it. He's got to go a lot further than this. Probably got to get to about lap 18 most likely to have any kind of chance of pulling that one off. But for now, Domingo, I think you were right earlier on. Earlier on, so I think he's perhaps the favourite for this race, Marco.
One thing we haven't talked about, and it's important to notice, the incident limit here: 17 X's, 17 incident points you can accumulate throughout the race before getting disqualified. This track is notoriously hard on you for off tracks. You get one penalty incident point every time you go out off track. So the problem here that you have those big runoff areas or those fake grass on the outside of the curbs that in real life sometimes it's accepted as racing line, but not here. So you can accumulate incident points very quickly. And I think most of the top runners started basically first corner with 4 incident points because of the contact we've seen at the hairpin. So you have to manage this, and this being a 100% distance race, it may be a problem later on.
Well, I'm just looking at our system. Of course, it's not the official iRacing system. Our system is even more harsh than the iRacing system, I think. But Benjamin Lindsay has got 23 incidents, according to us. Compare that to Enric Andres, who's got none. That really does imply that maybe not all those 23, otherwise he'd be disqualified already. But Lindsay, I think, is running that really, really tight, and he's got to maybe manage his driving a little bit better. Finch is up on 13 as well, with Domingo only on 2. So yeah, we'll wait and see how that turns out. We can't really tell until someone pops out of existence, and we can assume that they've been disqualified. But for now, no one has fallen victim to that. We've got Lindsay now on the tail of Bestie. So Lindsay, with his longer first pit stop, 20 seconds longer than Bestie, in fact. But it looks as though he's going to be able to pull off that move very, very soon.
Here at the bus stop chicane. Wasn't close enough, but he is close enough right now. Let's see if he will wait till the backstretch. No, he goes for it right now. No, it was a dummy move. Smart choice. Now he's to have DRS here, and he's going to complete the pass, I think. Going to the next chicane. Just have to follow really, really closely here for Rouge.
Oh, he goes off the track there. Yeah, now it's right into the slipstream. Can he look to the inside? No, he has to back out of it. I'm just thinking actually maybe some of the incidents that he's accumulated might just be because of his slightly poor connection. Might just be picking up a few that he doesn't quite deserve. I think according to our system, he's already picked up 2 on this. So I think that might just be his connection dropping out. You can occasionally see him, have some unnatural movements, but yeah, he just couldn't get that move done on Bestie, and he kind of needs to get on with this, because if Benjamin Lindsay can drive this one well, he's right in line for a podium.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's not easy to concentrate when the guy in front or behind you has got some connection issues. See Scar basically hopping like a little rabbit, and it's a little bit distracting, especially when you have to be so precise in a car like this, where you cannot miss your braking points and you have to manage the DRS, ERS and all that interesting stuff. So it's going to be a challenge for him, and Lindsay is looking very, very fast. But yeah, you are right, he looked a little bit cautious, the 2 overtake attempts he made. So maybe you are right, he's got a high level of incident points also. This is not considering his connection problems, because that doesn't factor in the official system.
So once
not
again,
always, but I have to be clear, not always, because if you lag inside another car, sometimes the system can detect a contact, and it's going to be a harsh for incident points penalty. So, you know, you don't get an off track for bad connection, but you can get a fake contact incident point penalty. He's very close now, defensive line, let's see.
Yep, still not going for it. Still not feeling confident enough there. That was good defense actually, and here's another battle. Bueno and Calistani. What a rotten day he's had. He's way out of contention. He's he's only 30 seconds off the lead actually, but with potentially an extra pit stop to make compared to his rivals. And I wonder if there's a little bit of contact there. Bueno kind of trying to turn in a little bit, realizing that there was a car on the inside. He hadn't turned into the corner yet, and just had to react to that one. But yeah, Calistani up into P9 now.
See, yeah, definitely some contact there. As we are back live, Kyle Germanton on camera here, and he's right behind Harrison Finch. Germanton is having a very good.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I was just going to say Carl's been close for a few laps now, hasn't quite been able to pull off the move on Harrison Finch, but Finch 4.5 seconds off the lead, despite having, 6 lap older tyres. He's keeping tags with Domingo, which really does show his pace, but yeah, with a potential extra pit stop, would you, if you were Finch right now, would you convert to the two-stopper? Because he's not losing time due to the old tyres, and on pure pace he can probably beat Domingo, I think. Or do you think he should stick to the three-stopper and have to make up some time later on?
Well, only he knows how much these tires will last, and I mean, if the fall-off is big, and we said that the track temperature is not that high, we see Vesti going for a pass here, and easy does it. I don't know, I really don't know. If I was him, I would stick to his strategy, because if he's going for a three-stopper, I would keep that way with the three-stopper. But he's keeping his options open, and that is always good.
Really is fascinating battling out here, because Enric Andre currently in P6, because he's going to be closing in on these guys. That's why I looked at him. I was thinking, yeah, Andre's going to be with these guys very soon. He just did a 48.93. Compare that to Finch, 49.79. Domingo, 49.21. So yeah, we'll see if Andre can possibly bring this one back. He's 20 seconds off the lead. We know that he can possibly make that up. Germanton and Vesti, I think, have got currently 1/10 between them at the moment. It is super close between those two. And yeah, just back to these guys, it's been a raging battle this, and we'll wait and see if Lindsay goes for this move again, because last time he went for this move, he was vulnerable. Then at the Kemmel Straight this time, going defensive is Vesti. He's only interested in holding on to this P4 at the moment, and they're 8 seconds behind Carl Germanton now, and consistently losing at least half a second a lap. This is frustrating for Lindsay, isn't he? Because he can pop in those low 49s occasionally, which is the same pace as the race leader currently. And if he could really exhibit that pace, he'd be right on to the back of Finch and Germanton in quite a matter of about 10 laps.
Yeah, and I think we had a crash for number 8 Stefan Schmidt, because I saw him get a tow back to the pits, and he's looking like his day is done. Let's see. It was going very slow, and his car is basically going sideways, so he had a suspension problem probably before the Eau Rouge section of the track, parked the car, and he's retired. He must have hit somewhere along his way through that part of the track.
Yeah, a bit of an odd one. I don't really know where he would have hit the wall there. Maybe the maybe spun on the at the exit of turn 1. And yeah, this was Vesti, and yeah, trying to find that actually.
I think he hit the inside wall at the.
Oh yeah, he did. No, he's already got damage, I think, at this point, has he?
I think he hit the wall on the inside, because he was. I think he was holding the wheel straight for getting into the hairpin. It was an odd one. That wall can be unforgiving. It sticks out, and sometimes you take it a little bit too close for comfort. I have done that amazing amount of times, so I know all about it.
It's one of them, isn't it, where you really think, oh, I'm going to look like a muppet now that I've done that, because it's one of those things where it's like, how can I possibly turn into a wall? And yeah, it can be a very frustrating one. You've almost got to leave yourself a little bit of margin there, just to make sure that it never ever happens. Certainly an issue around street circuits. Unfortunately, we're not going to any street circuits. We're not going to Belle Isle this season. Maybe next season we will be visiting there, but that would be absolutely superb in these cars. Let's see if Lindsay can come back at Vesti now. Lindsay starts at 5th. Vesti started in 6th. Other way round now. But Andre is going to be onto the back of these guys very soon. And do you think Vesti's tactics here have been the correct ones? Because he's lost himself a lot of time, and if it weren't for this, maybe they'd have a chance against Andre in the long run, and maybe even be able to challenge Germanton and Finch up ahead.
I don't know. On paper, yes. But in the heat of competition, maybe he's only looking behind him and doesn't want to give away this 4th spot at all. So he sees that he can keep his opponent behind him, and so far so good. But yeah, maybe it would have been better if he but if he was a little bit less, because we saw Lindsay is really shy at this moment. He doesn't want to make a risky move. Again, I suspect he's getting closer and closer to the disqualification, so that would explain, because I think both of these guys have the pace, but Lindsay seems to me like he's a little bit faster throughout the entire lap, and also he has DRS more often than not, so still you see not pushing the envelope as much as we've seen other drivers do in this particular part of the track, when you have the DRS, when you can go for a pass. You see he's not going on the inside, for example, here. Let's see if he tries again on the Camel Straight.
Yeah, he's a lot closer this time than he was last time, although if anything, just seems to drop back a little bit on the exit there. How close is he up to Eau Rouge? Actually, he has managed to close in quite a bit there. Now, DRS. Can he get right into the tight? He's got to be brave here to look to the inside, but bends off once again, does Vesti. Andre looming closer and closer to these two, and it will not be long until this is a three-way battle for 4th, 5th and 6th still. Finch holding off Germanton up in 2nd and 3rd, and Bueno and Candio having a good battle out there, and Candio just got past Bueno. That was for 10th and 11th, and there was the move. These guys not too far behind, although Candio off the circuit should be able to make that one stick unless he gets a slowdown. Should be okay, will just be a 1x I think for him, and yet for now he holds on to that P10.
Yeah, some great action there, the chicane. If I can give you one tip, don't camp there if you go to the Spa 24 hours, because it is not permitted. I know this for experience. I will tell you later on the best camping spot of all. Not very popular, but you get an amazing view. Maybe when we have a little bit subdued moment in the race, because these guys are battling a lot all over the field, and we still have one pit stop to go, and maybe two for some other drivers.
Yeah, I was just thinking, of course, lap 21 these drivers are on now, and if he's going to be on, if he's on a 3-stopper, Finch would pit in the next couple of laps, wouldn't he? Of course, you know, pitting every quarter, but he seems far from that at the moment. Seems to be quite happy out there, so maybe he is converting to a 2-stopper. Andre now, 12 seconds behind Finch. This is yeah, fascinating battle between these drivers. It looks as though it's probably a 4-way battle between Domingo, currently in the lead. Looks as though he's on a 2-stopper. Finch, after contact earlier on, he could be on a 3-stopper, but you could also be on a 2-stopper. He's going to have to stretch it though if he is on a 2-stopper. He pitted much earlier than his rivals. Germanton has had brilliant pace out there, and of course Andre coming back very strongly after a speeding penalty earlier on.
See now battle here. Calestani, Cuoca, so Claudio Candio as well. Calestani must have some bigger problem than his front wing, because still he doesn't have any kind of pace today. Must have some suspension damage from that contact at the beginning of the race, because he hasn't been able to make up any kind of ground. Yeah, spinner, and the Cuoca is upside down. Now he's back on 4 wheels, but I think his day is done now.
Frustrating for Cuoca. Was running as high as P6 at one point, and we'll see what happened to him here. Just on the power, I think, was it? And yeah, just lost it. Yeah, with the wheel spin.
Yeah, on the power too soon, and this is the great camping spot, I can tell you. If you go to the Spa 24 hours, go there. As we see this 3-way battle now, Lindsay goes for it because he sees Andre is in his mirrors. He makes it stick. Wow.
Now what can Andre do? To the outside goes Enric Andre. He's going to have a little bit more of a slipstream, but coming back down the inside maybe. But Andre swoops around. Can he get his car ahead going down into Eau Rouge? Will it be side by side going to Eau Rouge? No. Andre much wiser than that. He just slots in behind. Now this is going to be an awesome angle to see what it's like up here. So much quicker, so much more grip up through Eau Rouge, a lot more confidence. And now they've both got DRS, and then sitting dark is Benjamin Lindsay. Can Andre get the pair of them? Because if he stays behind Vesti for now, and Lindsay's still not giving up, Andre may not actually gain any positions here, but he has got ahead of Benjamin Lindsay eventually, and now he's got Frederick Vesti just ahead. But yeah, Vesti does not want to leave this 4th place go, and Lindsay just cannot catch a break, can he?
Some great racing by Andre. Yeah, Lindsay battling. Oh, very, very close here, Andre, to the back of Vesti's car. Will he go for a move at P1? I hope not. Very tough corner to manage when you're alone. So close.
Oh, nice move in the end. Let's see if Vesti can stay close enough for the next DRS zone where he can maybe repel the attack. Lindsay almost off the track in the background. He's flying all over the place currently. And if Vesti already is dropping so far back, already 6/10 behind, could maybe keep the DRS, but I don't think he's going to be able to come back. But that must just be so frustrating for Lindsay, mustn't it? Because, you know, being stuck behind a driver for about 10 laps as he has been, and then just see another driver get past him and another driver in the space of a few corners, yeah, will not help his mood.
Yeah, but this is not any driver. This is Henrik Andre, and he's showing that he wants absolutely get at the very least back to the podium, if not a little bit ahead. We saw in the past few laps Finch lapping a little bit quicker than Domingo. Now Domingo has lapped quicker than Finch. I'm thinking that Finch's tires are falling off ever so slightly. And you are right, I think that Finch is converting to a two-stopper, right? Because we are basically halfway through the race, and if he can hold on, he can be, I think, with the same tires, Finch can be faster than Domingo on the race pace.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just thinking what lap we need to get to. So 36 at 18. Probably needs to get to lap 25 actually. So actually expect him at any moment now. I think he'll want to kind of go as far, so to kind of make these the second and third stints as equal as possible. And that would probably be about 18 laps each, and he pits on lap 7, so it should be about lap 25 that he comes in, and of course currently on lap 24, so wait for him any moment now, and we'll see what the others do. Do you think it's worth Domingo maybe pitting a little bit earlier, just to fend off the undercut from Finch, or does he have to stick to his A game and just go for the fastest route to the line?
I think he should stick to his A game. Either way, he's going. Hey, here he comes. Here he comes, Finch.
Once.
Sometimes we get it right. Very careful not to speed. Should be a quick pit stop.
Wonder where he will come out. He'll be behind Vesti, behind Kaiser. Will he be behind Kalistani? That could be a little bit close between those two.
As Lindsay is in as well. So I suspect this is the final stop of the race. Up and down. And here he goes. Very difficult pit exit here. He's behind the entire field.
He's behind.
No, sorry, that was Lindsay. Lindsay is going to get out behind everybody. Yeah, Finch. Yeah, you're right. He's behind Kaiser, in front of Kalistani.
Yeah, and how much time will he lose behind Kaiser? Not a lot. He, if anything, he gains a little bit. Those DRSs have been very helpful for him too, but of course you've also got to position your car well. And now it's going to take, what, 3 laps maybe for him to make up that 5 seconds on Domingo? But he will have older tyres than his rivals. Really wait to see what the others do now. I'm just, yeah. It's difficult to tell because I think Finch right now, there's not a whole lot Domingo can do, is there, against Finch, because it's pretty clear Finch has got a good half a second, maybe a second a lap faster when on equal tyres. Let's see if Domingo comes in this time to just fend off track position. We've seen track position not worth that much though today. He stays out. So, how long will he go? He pitted on lap 13 last time. So should be pitting in about, what, lap 28 or so, I think. And Germanton's in, so yeah, this is an interesting tactic from Germanton. Is he looking for the undercut on Domingo?
Well, part that and part, I think, covering on Finch. We'll see. As we see Andre as well, he's still, we're still waiting for his second stop, and now he's moving up to P2. He's got like 18 seconds of a gap between himself and Domingo. Let's see Germanton's 5.6 seconds. Calestani is in as well, 9 seconds. Claudio Candio is in as well, so I think the pit window is most definitely open.
Johansson has come out 2.4 seconds behind Finch, so we kind of expected that. And yeah, of course, Johansson will be trying to make up some time. Needs to get past this driver very quickly, otherwise he could be vulnerable from Andre later on. And of course, he will be looking for that undercut on Domingo. Yeah, of course, Calestani and Candio in. That last lap, Andre, 1 minute 50.07. Domingo, 1 minute 50.59. So consistently about half a second a lap at the moment. And yeah, what would you do if you were Andre right here? Would you just stay out for as long as he possibly can? I don't really know what Andre can do here. Oh, and Kaiser's into the wall.
Yeah. Facing the wrong way, I think it was Pouin corner, yes, the double gauche. I think you say it in French. Little bit wide. Oh, hard into the wall.
Looks as though he's going to be able to continue though. I don't think he's got any steering damage. Let's see. No, it seems to be okay. So just a new front wing he'll need. And should be back out away, should Michael Kaiser. But that's frustrating for him because he was running in, I think, P7. And now his chances of a top 9, I think, are all but over.
Harrison Finch, fastest lap of the race, 48.2. He is really pushing. I get that when he came in for his interviews last couple of races, he is really a good competitor. He hates, I think, to finish outside of first position, and he is giving his all today. It's been a joy to see him and Andre trying to make up their grounds after their different problems that they had. As I think Andre had a little bit of an off.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? He's lost about 2 seconds.
Kaiser is in the pits to get his front wing repaired. Let's see. Andre went for a ride in the grass here. And gravel for good measure. Don't need that when you're on a chase.
You think that was the tyres there? The tyres just let him go and him not being quite, not being quite prepared for it?
Well, yeah, I think that, and I think we should see him in the pits in this lap. I would do that.
Oh, I think Finch is about to get past Vesti, and he just has. Up into P3 goes Finch, so that was an unusual overtake, I think. And yeah, let's see how it was for his on board. And yeah, was not wasting any time whatsoever. Straight down the inside and through up into the top 3. Still Domingo and Andre staying out, and we can all but confirm now if Domingo came into the pits, he'd come out behind Domingo, and Andre is actually coming in. So
man, I'm on a roll today.
We're getting stuff right. It's really weird. Yeah, Andre in, and yeah, he's just going to have to try to chase down Johansson and Domingo to the end of the race now.
Yeah, Vesti is in as well, so the only thing left to see is when will Domingo pit, as Andre is very quick, 4.2 seconds in and out of the pits. Should have clear track ahead. He has. In front of him is Lindsay, and I think Germanton, Finch and Domingo. Yes, so he's in 5th position. Lap 28 of 44.
So Lindsay's made his second pit stop, has he?
Yeah, it shows you that he has 4 pit stops. So I think he went in and out a few times maybe. But yeah, I saw him pit before together with Finch, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I was just a bit concerned that sorry, a bit confused because he's so far ahead of Vesti now, despite them two being so close to one another earlier on. Although, what was Vesti's pit stop time? 3.72. So, yeah, not quite sure. Domingo in. So, Has he left it too late? Has he left himself too vulnerable to Finch? Because Finch has been taking out some 3 seconds a lap and he was only 5 seconds behind before the pit stops. He's going to have fresher tyres to the end of the races, Manu Domingo, but that might not be enough because Harrison Finch, I think, is about to take the lead of this race. Domingo stationary, up on his jacks, needs to be really quick. Finch is already way out into the lead though. Can Domingo stay ahead of Germanton? This could be close. Germanton's going to have a better run now. Is he close enough going down the Kemmel Straight? No, he's not. Domingo should be able to hang on to that P2 for now, but he's lost 5 seconds to Harrison Finch.
Amazing lap from Finch in crunch time, 48.14. When needed it the most, he had the fastest lap of the race and now he's in P1. He has 4 laps older tires than Domingo, but I think he should be able to manage. But this is far from over, I think, but Finch is looking good right now.
Yeah, he's looking absolutely fantastic, and we saw with him with 6 lap older tyres in the second stint, and he was only slightly slower than Domingo, so he's got 4 laps older tyres now. We expect that pace difference to be pretty much non-existent, so he should be fine now. Will Domingo... Is it Germanton maybe his biggest challenger now? Because we saw Germanton really quite happily keep up with Finch in the second stint. Do you think Germanton's got it in him to maybe close in that gap?
I don't think so, but what I'm pretty confident about is that Germanton is a very, very consistent driver. He hasn't made a lot of mistakes today and or previous races for that matter, so maybe we will see, for example, Domingo push a bit too much, make a mistake, and Germanton can really take advantage of it.
The problem is, we haven't seen Harrison Finch make any mistakes so far this season. I must say, Germanton's driven an awesome race at Interlagos. He was a long way behind Finch, but in this race, he's been really, really competitive. And it really tees up the rest of the season very well. We'll have a check actually in a second where the next round is for round 4 of the season. Of course, just a bit of a reminder, we do appreciate any donations, and we're hoping to be able to do the entire 12-week season, but if we don't get some more donations, we're going to struggle to be able to do that. So we would really appreciate it. Just go to the forum post on the MP4-30 forum section. And yeah, we'd really appreciate that so we can cover this entire season. And I think we've got the next couple of races covered, but beyond that is a little bit unclear. So yeah, we would super appreciate that. And yeah, we do absolutely love covering this series on Apex Racing TV. Domingo now within 5 seconds. We'll have to wait and see what the lap times are, of course. We really can't call it at this point, but that's a strong outlap, isn't it, from Domingo, to pull away from Germanton by 1 second, to close in onto Finch. He's clearly got a cross on the back of Harrison Finch's rear wing.
Yeah, he's going to try to close the gap, and he's going to do anything to get closer to Finch and maybe go for the win.
I don't know if we could get a replay of the race start, Sam. Just because I don't think we've seen it during this race, and of course it was very, very important. And yeah, here it was. So haven't really talked about it too much. But of course, it was so close between the top 3 drivers. And Andre didn't get an awesome start, did he? And not quite sure who made contact with it. It was the 2 teammates, wasn't it? And then, Carl Stein really got the brunt of that, didn't he? And I think Kaiser spun round as well.
I don't know if that was a contact or a netcode contact, or if one of the 2 guys got around on his own and then collected his teammate, because there was a little bit of a gap between these 2. Now we'll see on board with Calestani to have a clearer picture, I think. Let's see. Whoa, that is strange.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then you see Calestani has suspension damage. Yeah. And rear wing damage as well. This explains his terrible pace throughout the race. He's a very good driver, and it is quite peculiar to see him struggle this much, and that explains why. Not only front wing damage, but also suspension. His car was lifted in the air, and the rear wing damage as well.
Yeah, I don't know if we could get maybe one more shot, but just from the yeah, Domingo currently, he is 5 seconds behind. On that last lap, he was 2/10 faster. So, yeah, on this lap though, he's lost a little bit of time. So, yeah, it's really just seesawing around right now, if that's possibly a word. Kaiser closing in on Candio currently. That's probably the closest battle out there. Kaiser really closing in, second a lap faster on that last one. Only 7/10 behind now of Candio. And it's been a frustrating round for Kaiser. Of course, had that big off. Fortunately, only a front wing repair, so he's had to make, I think, one extra pit stop along with losing a lot of time. But you know what? If he can get this one done, Calistani's not too far up the road, and he could recover a P7 from this.
Yeah, and also big shout out to him because he has, I think, the best helmet design in the field today. Star Wars design, so I absolutely approve it. Looks like the episode 4 helmet of the X-Wing fighters. So it's an amazing design.
Cool, yeah. Fully approved of that, and we will be extremely biased now to the end of the race because of that. That's how fickle we are. We just need some good liveries, and yeah, we will support him all the way. Kaiser driving absolutely brilliantly at the moment, and yeah, only 8/10 to catch up to Candio, but did make a mistake at that final chicane, as you saw, and yeah, has got a little bit more to catch currently.
Looking for a move here. Left-hander, of course, you just have to follow. He sees, I think, Calistani in front of him. So he will be very, very motivated to make this pass as quick as possible. Lap 32 of 44, so we have got 12 laps to go. And he's around. Oh, man.
He doesn't like that corner, does he?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was close. Bueno just about gets him past. Kaiser should be okay. Going to warm up those tyres just a bit, but should be fine after a few corners. Could have really been fighting for a top 6 right now, could Kaiser, if it weren't for that Puon corner. But instead, he's down into P10 and will do well to catch up to Bora Bueno just ahead, although he is consistently a lot faster. Although Bueno did only just pit, so it might be a little bit of an awkward customer.
Lap times now, second lap in a row that Finch gained a couple of tenths on Domingo, so his tires are looking really, really good right now. Not a lot of time left for Domingo to make his final, to take a chance and make a run towards Finch. So if Finch's tires hold up, I think he is looking towards a very, very good victory and a win that he had to fight for to get. It wasn't easy from the start to finish, absolutely.
Yeah, he's had pretty dull races so far this season. At Silverstone, he was a bit of a boring second place. Although, to be fair, he did have to make a couple of moves up in the early stages. Into Lagos, he got the race lead in turn 1 from second on the grid, and romped away from there, was consistently about a second a lap faster. And right now, he's looking strong for another victory, second of the season. I think that would potentially be the championship lead for him as well. Candio's had an issue, and here it was. And a big hit into the wall. And I'd be surprised there's not major suspension damage to that car.
Yeah, he's running in the grass. I don't think he will go. I think he's back on the track, but he has not taken a tow to the pits, but his steering seems a little bit compromised. Yeah, more than a little bit.
It's not too bad, is it? might be able to still drive around, but he's not going to get any better than 10th position, I think. Really does show how tough these 44 lap, or maybe not 44 laps, but kind of 1 hour, 1.5 hour races are for the drivers. We've seen Kaiser make a couple of mistakes, Candido make a mistake, Quoker I think made a mistake, so did Schmidt, Augusto, and yeah, it's so difficult to keep your concentration for all of these 44 long laps. Now, can Bueno hold back Kaiser? He's got fresher tyres, has Bueno, by 4 laps. He just came into the pits a couple of laps ago. These guys still on the lead that comfortably. They're actually within a minute. Really does show, sorry, a minute of the leader. And yeah, really does show the competitiveness of this field. But is Kaiser just a little bit too competitive? He'll go to the inside now, into Lake Coombe, but Bueno very, very late on the brakes, and that was well defended.
Yeah, as Claudio Candido took the pits at last, so I think his race is over. Great battle here to end this race. We still have 10 laps left to go. It's great to see these guys battling. Let's see, Kaiser is getting into his trouble spot. It's the Puon corner.
Yeah, how do you deal with that as a driver? Have you got to kind of drive through the doubt barrier and just go about it the same way as you have gone, or is it wiser just to not be stubborn and learn from your mistakes and change your line a little bit?
Maybe take it a little bit easier. He messed up that corner twice, so at the very least it should get some experience and take it a little bit easier. You know he's faster than the guy in front, so no need to push that hard there. It's a very difficult corner. There's, I think, a little bit of I would say negative banking there, which really gets your car all sorts of sideways. There's literally no grip there, so it's very easy to make a mistake. And he made a mistake twice entering the corner, not midway through, which is interesting enough.
Gonna have to line it up again. Is he a little bit closer this time round? Not really. And I think it may have been a characteristic so far today, Marco, how if you stay behind a driver for about a lap, it's very difficult to kind of force the move after that, and you can kind of get into a rhythm of just dropping back in the middle part of the lap and then closing back in. Although, is he close enough here? He's completely contradicted me there as Kaiser, and he's gone through a little bit of contact. Shouldn't be too much.
And he's disqualified.
Ah.
I think he is disqualified. There was a hard contact between himself and Borca Bueno, and I think that was that for his incident limit.
Yep, disappointing to see. Really is tough, that 17 instant limit, and that final contact was enough to pop him out. And yeah, hopefully we'll see him back next race, because certainly provides some good entertainment. And yeah, could have maybe been a P6 as high as a 6th position, but he'll be a little bit frustrated with that, what might call Kaiser. Out near the lead, Andre closing in on Lindsay. On that last lap, he was half a second faster. That gap was up about 8 seconds at one point, I think. It's down to just 1.5 now. And he's very quickly closing in. You've got to wonder, Marco, if Lindsay didn't have all that battling and squabbling with Vesti earlier on, you got to wonder, he would have been almost a secure podium, wouldn't he?
Yeah. And now it's going to be interesting to see how hard he will defend against Andre, because we said it before, we suspect he has a very high incident count, and as you have just seen, when you get to that 17 incident point limit, you are gone in an instant, and your race is over. There's no appeal, there's no nothing, you are gone. So it's good. Andre will go for the pass 100%. So let's see if Lindsay will defend hard, or if he will just let him by.
He is now into the DRS zone, only 8.5 tenths between these two drivers. They got another 6 seconds up to Carl Germanton, who's failed to make an impression on Manu Domingo. So if Andre can get this one done now, then he could maybe catch up to third position. He's lapping about a second a lap faster than Johansson, 6.5 seconds, and we are on lap 35. So yeah, I'm bad at maths, but I think that means that we can catch him up. But he's got to make this move very quickly, and we'll see. Lindsay, he's kind of struggled a little bit in wheel-to-wheel combat today, whether or not he can bend off the red car just behind of Henrik Andre. But for now, it looks like he's far too, he's a long way back, but has Lindsay got a little bit more drag with his setup? Recovering a little bit of energy, you can see with the flashing light, and Andre's getting very, very close now down the Kemmel straight. Wheel luck to the inside, Henrik Andre, and he is through. Lindsay goes way offline, did not want to have any part of that. He's lost himself quite a bit of time, and Andre had to make that move quickly, and that was very, very decisive, wasn't it, Marco?
Absolutely, and like we suspected, Lindsay made it very, very easy for Andre. Doesn't want to get any kind of contact. I think he is very, very close to the incident limit, and now we'll see if Andre will be happy with P4 or if he will try to push and go for the podium. 6 seconds to gain on Kyle Germain.
Andre had an awful pit stop earlier on, picking up a penalty, lost 20 seconds, and just to give you a reference, he's now 19 seconds off the lead. So what could have been for Henrik Andre, what could have been for a lot of these drivers out here today, if Harrison Finch hadn't been involved in that first lap incident, then he may have been even further out in the lead. But a lot of ifs and buts out there. But right now, it's still Harrison Finch out in the lead. Claudio Candiate now a lap down. He's had a couple of issues recently, and that damage really is costing him quite badly currently, but he should be able to finish the race at least in 9th position.
Yes, we see Harrison Finch now, and in the back you see Manu Domingo's car. This lap, almost identical lap times, 1/10 faster for Domingo, but he can afford Finch to lose 1/10 per lap from now until the end of the race. He's looking good. And Andre lapped close to 1 second faster than Germanton. So we have lap 38 of 44, 5.3 seconds between these two drivers. So we might have a battle for P3 come the end of the race.
Yeah, it's not really any other close battles out there. So yeah, we're relying on that battle to give us some action, and just yeah, I don't know if we get an onboard shot of Andre. Just see him kind of leaning on those tyres through this part of the circuit. He's absolutely gonna have to give it his all to be anywhere near his rival. And this is if you were Andre in this situation, Michael, would you turn off the relative? Just make sure that you're concentrating on every apex rather than looking at the gap every other corner?
Yes, or I would look at it only on the start-finish line. It can be very, very distracting if you have to keep glancing at the bottom right of your screen if you have a single monitor. So yeah, I would definitely turn it off. I mean, there's no risk in getting into another driver's way, and I don't think there's any lapper around him. So look forward, concentrate on your line, and try to get this podium.
That last lap, Jim Manson with a 1 minute 50.69. Andre, 1 minute 49.22. He's doing more than enough currently. We're on lap 38 of 44. Less than 6 laps to go. And yeah, he's got plenty enough time to surely make up this gap. But yeah, it's has Jim Manson. Do you think it's worth Jim Manson maybe just thinking about how he's going to defend against Andre, because we've seen Andre quite easily make the move so far. Jim Manson's got to do something quite special to be able to repel this attack.
Yeah, but also he needs to be concentrated, because if he makes a mistake now, suddenly he has to defend against Andre for 5 laps instead of maybe having to defend against him for the final 2-3 laps. So he has to keep it cool. He knows that Andre is coming for him and that there will be a battle coming soon. But you never know, maybe Andre makes a mistake, so just have to keep concentrating and run your own race, and then it comes to down to a battle with Andre. It's gonna be interesting for us, and there is no shame in losing your position to the highest strength driver in the race.
Yeah, we'll wait to see what the lap times are this time. Gap between Finch and Domingo remains at about 5.2 seconds. It's been like that for about since really they last pitted about 10 laps ago. Germanton did a 50.28, Andre 49.11, another 1.17 seconds out of the lead. He's taking chunks currently, less than 3 seconds the gap now, and as we nearly reach about an hour and a quarter into this event, he is very nearly where he needs to be to claim an unlikely podium after a collision with Harrison Finch in the opening corner, and then a large speeding penalty later on. This would be a very, very good podium, even if he was eyeing up the risk victory going into this event.
Yeah, a bit of a moment there for Germanton. He was all sorts of sideways coming out of the chicane, and he's lost a little bit more time as well. 2.3 seconds now the gap as they go into the flowing section of Puon, and Andre is getting bigger and bigger in Germanton's rear view mirror.
Of course, we haven't mentioned it, but we have got the VTEC Super Series on the other side. If you, after this race, of course, is finished, if you fancy popping over to that, and yeah, that's the 4-hour event, the season finale at Sebring. So certainly catch that, but for now, certainly stick with us because we haven't got much longer to go. Only 4 more laps for Harrison Finch out in the lead.
Speaking of Sebring and walls that stick out, in my first and only official Kia race, I wiped out a 30-car field because I hit the inside wall on lap 1. So that Sebring wall is my nemesis. This Spa wall, I've got into it a couple of times, but I never felt as bad as when I did that. It was like 2-3 years ago, so a lot of time has passed. But yeah, I still remember this Kia that I launched in the air with the Scottish flag top of the car, and I basically created a huge mess. Never raced the Kia again. Vesti is in the pits, interestingly enough.
Yes, very interesting, because Matteo Calastani was only 21 seconds behind beforehand. I don't know if there's been some kind of issue for Vesti, because his lap timed, yeah, we're in the 1 minute 50s, that's fine. So I wonder if he's had a bit of an off or something. Here he is. Let's see how long this pit stop is. Very quick. Okay, I do not know what Vesti's doing, because he's now lost the position to Calastani. Maybe he feels like being a hair for a couple of laps here, but Calastani is so quick, he's going to struggle to make that up. Calastani actually is doing 1 minute 53, so this could be a nice little battle. I don't know if Frederick just feels like offering some entertainment for us, but this should be very interesting. 2.5 seconds to catch, and he's got, 3 laps to do it.
Yeah, and Andre has finally got Germanton, so they are going to battle for the foreseeable future here for the final podium position.
He's going to have 3 laps to do it. What can Germanton do? How's he going to possibly defend this one? Andre getting close. See a little bit of energy recovery just ahead now. Will he go defensive here? No, Andre's going to go to the inside. Germanton, maybe this is what he wants. Maybe he wants to get the slipstream and the DRS down the next couple of straights, but he's got to make sure he nails these exits. He gets the DRS here. How close can he get into the hairpin? I don't think he actually deployed DRS there, but we'll see. Going up the Camel Straight. Gosh, they're so close now. The exit was decent, although he is now half a second behind. And you know what? I think Andre, because he's been so strong through Eau Rouge in this race, he pulls out another 3 tenths, and it seems like that's sealed, doesn't it, Marco? And yep, straight through goes Andre, and now actually Vesti already on the back of Calastani.
Yeah, the detection point is before the bus stop, I think. So Andre had the DRS on the start-finish line, oddly enough. and that I think helped him a little bit to set up. Oh, Calestani is around. This keeps going from bad to worse for Matteo Calestani, driving a car that has been problematic since the first corner. I think he was too aggressive on the throttle because it sounded like it was very smooth, but when you have suspension damage, even a little bit too much throttle, you go around, and that's another damage for him, front wing damage again. I'm surprised he didn't get disqualified because he had some issues of tire race, contacts and off tracks, etc, etc.
Yeah, it's going to be close between him and Bueno later on now. 4.5 seconds between the two of them now, and down the straights, just down that Camel Straight, I think Calestani lost half a second, so he could be vulnerable, although he has only got 2.5 more laps to soldier around. Out in the lead, Finch, the gap has come down a little bit. 4 tenths faster on that last lap was Domingo, but it doesn't look like he's got enough, does it, Marco? But I must say, I think Domingo, for me, has got to be probably the driver who surprised me most today. He's really come out well. He got pole position, and you know, if he'd won this race, admittedly he maybe wasn't the fastest driver out there, but he's really taken every chance. He's driven a very good strategy, and he can't really regret anything from this because he's driven absolutely superbly.
He had a very clean race. He was on pole position, by the way, so he was fast in qualifying. You never know, a long lap, so maybe a mistake here and there, maybe cost Finch or Andre the pole position as well, so you don't know, you can not get race pace from the qualifying laps. That being said, he had the cleanest race of them all, so he did what he had to do, kept it clean, was very consistent, and you know, sometimes there's just other drivers that are faster than you, Harrison Finch, for example, today, but he can really be proud of himself. Manu Domingo, he had a very good race.
Yeah, the gap's still coming down to 3.8 seconds now. I think he's taunting us as Harrison Finch because he's only got one more lap to go after this one. On this lap, I think Domingo has made up some about a second already. Going to be very close between Calestani and Bueno. I think actually Bueno's going to get this one very soon because he's so much faster down the straights. Those guys nearly, well, I say nearly a lap down there, about half a lap down currently. Calestani, can he? I don't think he's going to stand much of a chance here because he's so slow down the straights, and this must just be painful as a driver to know that you're losing about probably 20 kilometers, 25 kilometers down the straights, and he's just going to be a sitting duck even at this point in the track against Bueno just behind.
I don't know if Finch had to deal with lap traffic, but he lost almost 8 tenths of a second this last lap. 3.3 seconds, the gap with 2 laps to go. So, still looking good, but if that wasn't because of lappers, maybe he made a mistake, or maybe he had to push very hard and he's saving fuel right now.
He's had to drive at such an intensity for so many laps. You can't really blame him for maybe letting off for these final couple just to make sure that he secures this victory. Let's see if Bueno can secure this 7th position. He can. From 11th on the grid, he moves up into 7th. He's been one of the cleanest drivers out there as Bueno, as you can see from his car, and he'll be very happy with that. Only 15 seconds behind Vesti now, but of course he's not going to be able to challenge that one. But yeah, good effort from Borja, and hopefully we'll see him later on in the series. But Harrison Finch, he has not got long to go whatsoever. It's been a problematic race for him. Turn 1 was not how he wanted it to turn out, but since then, after a very early pit stop, had to go so long in the second stop, and then a superb undercut at his second pit stop brought him the race lead, a 5-second gap, and since then he's just been able to maintain that. And it'll be Harrison Finch, week 3 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series, and he wins here at Spa-Francorchamps. And just behind is Manu Domingo. He brought down the gap to just 2 seconds at the line, but it wasn't quite enough. A brilliant drive though, and Enric Andre, I think, will be next across the line in 3rd position. Awesome race again, Marco. We didn't see too many drivers out there. I think, you know, hopefully we'll see a couple more drivers out there. The split system in iRacing is very odd. But yeah, hopefully we'll see more of a grid of about 20 cars next time. But the front runners, that was just a fascinating battle. And it's great to see, for the first time this season, a proper battle for the race victory.
Yeah, we had almost everything in this race. We had consistent driving, we had drivers that had to make a comeback, we had top drivers having to battle throughout the race because their car was damaged and they were fighting for one of the positions in the bottom of the top 10. Great overtakes and really the racing was very good today. A little bit less crashy, let's say that Interlagos, but yeah, too bad that you were right, the split system did not work in our favor today, but these were, I think, 14 of the best drivers on iRacing, and they put on a very good. Congratulations to Finch, Domingo and Andre for the great podium.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there are 27 cars who signed up, and yet they split it into 14 and 13. I don't get that, but you know, we at least saw, you know, the best 14, and they're of course going to provide the best show for us. So yeah, very happy with all the drivers who arrived for this race, and yeah, because Harrison Finch takes away the race victory. Looks unlikely at some points, but he has got his second race victory of the season. Manu Domingo, good drive from him to second from pole position. Eric Conje, he'll be kicking himself about a 20-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He ended up 14 seconds off the lead, so you can do the maths for yourself. Carlton Manson ends up in fourth. He showed strong pace. Benjamin Lindsay was frustrated behind Frederick Vesti for many laps. If it weren't for that, he may well have ended up on the podium with Vesti in 6th position, a minute down on the leader. Borja Bueno did well to finish in 7th from 11th on the grid. Matteo Castanich, everything went wrong for him today. Was very unlucky in the first corner, and that really wipes him out from contention. Claudio Candiate finished in 9th, 1 lap down then. The retirements, Kaiser got disqualified. He was 10 laps down in P10. Ollie Quaker finishes in 11th with Stefan Schmitz 12th. Rinaldo Auguste finishes in 13th with Gonzalo Calvo rounding out the field in 14th position. And yeah, we can now have an interview with Harrison Finch. And Harrison, another brilliant drive for you. That's now a second, a first, and a first in the races that we've broadcasted, but it didn't look likely. Did you ever, you know, think that it was out of reach, the race victory?
Yeah, definitely after turn one. I got some suspension damage and the front nose was completely gone. I think I didn't really feel that much effect on the front nose, to be honest. I don't think the whole front wing was gone. But yeah, I had to pit quite early just because I was losing a lot of time. And yeah, I just got my head down and put laps in.
Yeah, and that early pit stop, we were thinking maybe you were converting to a 3-stopper. Were you considering the 3-stopper, or was it always going to be a 2 for you?
It was always going to be a 2, really. Last season I did a 1-stop, so I knew the tyres could do a long way. It wasn't really the tyre wear, it was just how bad the car felt on worn tyres. So yeah, I knew the tyres could do the distance, I just had to be careful.
Yeah, and of course it was brilliant battling with your fellow competitors there, and yeah, it must be a little bit unusual, you know, having to make so many overtakes, but you were absolutely clinical out there. I didn't see you really lose any time behind any drivers, so you must be kind of really happy with how you managed to recover the race eventually.
Yeah, I had a lot of straight line speed compared to everyone else, really. So it was really easy overtakes, to be honest. And then I went for the undercut both times, and that's how I gained most of my positions. Yeah,
and of course you'll be hoping for defending your championship title. From these first kind of 3 races, and of course from seasons previous, who would you say maybe your main contender is for that title?
I have no idea, to be honest. If Gavin turns up for a few more, then it'll definitely be him. If Jorge turns up to some of the races. He'll have a chance, Manu has a chance. A lot of people can do it. I just got to do the best that I can and hope it's enough.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty much all you can do. And not sure what the next race is. I don't know if you could inform us, but yeah.
Imola.
Imola. Okay, is that one that you're strong at?
Yeah, we did that race. I think it was the last round of last season. So yeah, I'm quite confident at that track. It's on the same weekend as the World Championship in our race, so we might have a few World Championship guys racing, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be absolutely awesome. And before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, thanks to the team again. We did a good job on the setup again. Felt really comfortable throughout the whole race. So yeah, thanks to my team and teammates.
Thanks, Hassan, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Alright, thank you.
Also got Enric Andre with us, and Enric, you'll be, yeah, just take us through the speeding penalty, because I know you're frustrated with it, and yeah, if it weren't for that, then yeah, what could have been?
Yeah, it could have been a good race, maybe the win. I think it depends on my pit stop, but yeah, at least I have a pace, so it's looking promising for the Road Pro. But yeah, I'm a bit frustrated. Like I did the only mistake I shouldn't do, like risking the pit lane. You can gain 3/10 and you can lose 15 seconds, and that was a bit stupid from me. But well, yeah, at least I got the pace. I had a lot of fun during the race, so yeah, it was a fun race at least.
Yeah, and it was a chaotic turn one. Just yeah, take us through it from your perspective.
I don't know. I overtook a Finch at turn 1, and then I think it was Kalestani who touched him. Then I saw in my mirrors that a lot of cars were caught in the crash. And then I tried to overtook Manu Domingo after the Camel Straight. Yeah, but unfortunately I touched him a bit. I don't know who fault is it. I think it's a racing incident. But yeah, I did my whole first stint with a broken front wing. So again, I was quite happy with my pace, considering the damage I have on my car.
Yeah, definitely, your pace was extremely impressive. And yeah, were you a little bit surprised by kind of Manu's pace out there? Because, you know, we've seen him a little bit around, but certainly more competitive than he's been in the past. And I think in the future he could be a big threat to race victories.
Yeah, he's definitely a great driver. I mean, when he got a good setup and when he got a good car, he can deliver. So I won't be surprised if in the next round he's fighting at the top.
Yeah, of course, next round, Imola. A bit of a kind of bit of an old school circuit. This is a little bit as well, but very different characteristics. Yeah, one that you enjoy or one that you despise?
I really love that track. To be honest, I think that it's quite old school, as you said. You really need to focus on your line. You can't really attack at 100% because the car can be unstable sometimes with a curb. So yeah, it's all about having a great pace and be consistent. And I think it's shooting quite well on my driving style.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, from my team, Race Catch, for the sponsor, so NSH Racing and Gamebox Image. And yeah, to Fabrizio Donoso as well, who helped me a bit on the setup this week.
Thanks, mate, and yeah, we'll see you at Imola next week. So we haven't got any other interviews at the moment, but yeah, Marco, of course, next race, a little close to home for you, Imola. I think it's a circuit that kind of everyone likes. You know, I don't know what your opinions on it are, but I think in these cars, it's going to be absolutely fascinating.
Well, of the iRacing tracks, I have been to Spa and I've been to Imola, so of course I love the track. It was way before the recent changes, it was back in 2002, so the track has changed a bit, but it's going to provide for some fun racing, especially now that we don't have the chicane at the end of the lap, but we have basically a long run from the second Rivazza corner until the Tamburello S, and I think that is where the DRS zone is going to be. So we're going to see some overtakes and it's going to be challenging, and like you guys said, it's the World Championship is running together on Saturday, the day before we do the broadcast race. So hopefully a lot of some of the World Championship competitors are going to show up, and it's going to provide for a very, very exciting race.
Yeah, that would be absolutely fantastic if we saw a few pro drivers along with us. And yeah, we certainly hope for that. We are looking forward to it a lot on Apex Racing TV. Of course, we have got the VTEC Super Series on the other side, so you certainly catch that now. And we've got the BSR Grand Tour later on, and we've also got World GT along with some on Monday, BSR Masters on Tuesday, and Le Mans Series on Wednesday as well. So certainly catch all the action on Apex Racing TV. But from me, from Marco and Sam, we bid you goodbye, and yeah, we'll see you next week and same time.